I will ask one last question, a point of privilege, because how do you get this in front of the board? You're a rare breed to be a CISO in the board. Everything we've heard today, they're going to take away, and they're going to have to, the sky is falling, but it's actually falling. How do you get in front of the board?
Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of introducing, our hair's on fire, the internet's on fire. We've taken an approach through the National Association of Corporate Directors. We are brushing up over 24,000 members, and I would say roughly 85% of our members are still uncomfortable with the level of visibility they have in terms of their cyber hygiene. The metrics and the reporting is highly technical. They feel like the CISO and the CIO are not aligned to the business. So we've taken an approach that's more top-down, that looks at the cyber threat landscape relative to your industry group. We work with various types of companies that pull benchmarking analysis. So if you're in healthcare, you look different than manufacturing. You're going to look different compared to financing and banking. And we bring more of a business, operational, financial context to the cyber threat using a projected loss analysis based on your hygiene. So for instance, if you're only patching every 6 months, right, and you have 10% visibility into your IT asset inventory, you're probably going to realize an incident more quickly versus a company that has 90% visibility. So we take more of a top-down approach. We engage the board in terms of risk acceptance, risk transfer optimization, and it's super critical that the board, particularly the risk committee and the audit committee, has visibility into the budget and the capital being deployed to reduce that risk in a material way. And I would tell you, working, again, dozens of boards on an annual basis, and working with our CISO colleagues, the amount of spend and redundancy and inefficiency in the cybersecurity budget is absolutely astounding. And so it's really about capital deployment, understanding your business risk, your operational exposure, where the losses are most likely going to occur, and how do you deploy that capital and those investments in order to suppress that risk. Now we're talking in the language of the board, because the preponderance of these board members are former CEOs, former CFOs, accountants, and we allow for the board to make some decisions around, do we pull in a cyber expert? Do we pull in a Rob? Do we pull in a Chris to either sit on the board on a permanent basis, or even better yet, we retain these folks as an outside advisor to provide some independent perspective?
Yeah. Two quick answers. One,